Do you want to know how to script like a pro? Follow this series and I'll show you how it's done. In this video, as promised, I'm going to teach you about output, functions, events and connections. Output can help you understand how your code runs. It's a huge helping hand when it comes to debugging. You can generate text via prints, warnings and errors. Functions let you define a block of code that you can run later on with different arguments. This allows you to maintain a tidy and clean code that will be very readable. Events allow you to make your code listen to changes and react to them. Let's say you have a part and a player touches it. An event will be fired and we can listen to that from our script. There are many events that you can listen to, and knowing how to work with them is crucial. Connections are for listening to the events that I just explained. When the player touches the part, you can, for example, change its color, remove it, kill the player to make a kill break, and many more. You can create a connection for any event. I'm going to start by showing and explaining the output. If you don't see this window already, the output window, you can head up here to the View tab and enable it. I can disable and re-enable it to show you that it works. Now, as per usual, we are going to create a script. And this time we actually don't have to remove this line because right now I'm going to explain the output to you. If we run this script, you will notice that in the output you will see hello world. Let's see this. Hello world. This is because there is a line of code that says print hello world. This basically tells the script to write hello world into the output. If we were to change this text to, for example, hello subscriber, it will now say hello subscriber in the output. Let's see. And it really does. We don't have to stick with a boring print. We can also make warnings that will be orange. To create a warning, we will write warn and call the function and now enter a string. For example, oh no. Let's run this and see the warning. Oh no. There is one more output type that I'm going to show you, and that's an error. You can artificially create an error by writing error and then the string that should be shown as the error, and that can be, for example, I broke down. Let's run this and see the error. As you can see, it says server-script service.script, which is our script, on the line 1, which is this one, and it says I broke down, which is our error message. If we were to, for example, generate another error by, let's say, removing this, you can now do debugging because it says expected this closing bracket to close the opening bracket at column number 6 got EOF, which is basically nothing. So to fix this error, we would add this closing bracket back, and as we can see, it says I broke down again. So that's for the output, and now I'm going to show you the functions. To define a function, we will write function, which is very memorable. And now we are going to define the function's name, which for example can be foo. Now we will write an opening and closing bracket. Here will go arguments, but for now we won't have any because it will be simpler. We can now press enter and it will automatically fill out the end for us, which marks the end of the function. So in between these two lines, we will define our block of code that will run every single time we call this function. Since we just learned about the output, we can utilize it right now and let's say print I run. If we were to launch this script now, you would see that nothing happens because the function isn't called anywhere. Defining the function doesn't run the code that's inside the function. If you don't believe me, we can run this script and see that nothing happens. To call the function, we can make a new line and call it by writing down its name and then opening and closing bracket, which basically means calling a function. If we now run the script, we will see that it actually prints I ran, and which proves that the function actually ran. In the previous series, you learned about variables. If you create a variable outside of a function, let's say local to say equals I ran, and if we were to use the variable in here, so we remove this string and replace it with the variable to say. Now if we run this, it will say I ran because this variable that we define over here, which is local for this whole thing, will be used and it will replace it basically, this I run. But if we were to change things and do it the other way around, in other words defining the variable inside the function and then calling the print after the function is called, what you've learned right now, it should work alright, because you know this doesn't execute until we call it, but so we call it, and then the toSay variable is defined, and then it should say I ran, right? Well, let's see. It doesn't say it, and it says nil, because the variable is not defined in this environment. The variable is defined in this function's environment. So if we were to move the print back in here, it would work. It would work just fine. To fix this, with having the print outside of the function, we can create an empty function before we define the function, because now it will be local, and it will be local to all this, and so it includes the function. So we can just write into this variable and not create a new variable, because this variable is local for the entire thing. If we run it now, you will see that it works and it says I run. We can call the function multiple times. Instead of calling it just once, we can paste it many times. I just pasted it 6 times, and so now if we run the code, it should execute 6 times. So we will see hello times 6. It said hello 6 times. Now a very handy thing are arguments. To define an argument for a function, we will put it into these brackets. So we can, for example, make an argument 1 and argument 2. They are separated by commas. But for now we will need just argument 1, so I will remove the second one and just leave it as an argument. It basically works as a variable, but it's an argument. We can use the argument in here, and it will basically use the argument. Oh, typo, my apologies. We fix that, and now it's an argument. To put a value to this argument, you put it when you are calling the function. So into these brackets, we can put what should be used for this argument, and as you can see, the argument is used in the print, so we are basically telling the script what to print. So here I can do first, here second, then for example haha, and toSay, and last, and we can leave this empty just to show you what it does. Let's run the script and see that it actually does what was expected. First, second, haha, hello last, and then nil, because there is no defined argument, so the default value is nil, which is basically nothing. The toSay is of course used from here, which is hello, so it says hello. So that's it for functions. Events. Every instance can have different events. To visualize it very nicely so you can understand easily, you can use a part, and we will use its touch event, which will basically tell you when something touches the part. We will make sure that the part has collisions, in other words can collide is true, and can touch, because that is also important. It's true by default, both of these. Now we can go back into the script, and to access the event, it's the same thing as if you were to access the part in the workspace. So you can type workspace.part, and now we can write its event, which, as I said, we will be using touch. Now we have referenced the event, but this on its own isn't useful. So we will use a connection to act upon this event. So we can do touched connect, which allows us to connect the function, and then the brackets again, because connect is a function on its own, and we can then connect the function to it. We can either define the function over here and leave it as is, or we can create the function outside like this, with the end of course, and now use the function as an argument over here. So we say just foo. We don't call the function right here, we just write foo to reference the function. And now if we write something, some code into this foo, because now the function foo is connected to the touched event, we will see that it executes every time we touch the part. So we can say I was touched. touched. Now if we play the game, it says I was touched because it like fell or touched to the ground, but if we touch the part now, you can see that it screams that we are making contact with this part, and it said it already 170 times. The touched event provides you with arguments. You can see on this very handy page that we can look into the part's touched event right over here, and it says that it has some parameters and it's the other part that came in contact with the given part. So we can use this knowledge and use it as an argument over here and name it other part or anything else or just part, and now we will have the part that's touched our part stored in this argument. So we can say part.name and it should tell you the name of the part that touched the part. So if we run this script, we will see that I am touching the part with my feet and legs, and also the humanoid root part and other stuff. If we move the part into the air and we anchor it so it doesn't fall and it doesn't touch the ground, we can change this script a little bit to say part destroy. So the part gets destroyed as soon as we touch the part. And 3, 2, 1. It's destroyed. It destroyed our legs because we touched the part with our legs. If we wanted to destroy the part in the workspace, we can do workspace.part destroy, and it will destroy the part that we touched. 3, 2, 1. Poof, it's gone. And that's going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you learned something new, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you will return to watch the next video and become even a better scripter with more knowledge and more power to build a game. Don't forget to let me know what you think of this video in the comment section down below. Don't forget to leave a like if you liked the video, if it was helpful to you, and also don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any new video that we upload to make you a better developer. I'll catch you then.